Good evening. West Michigan is in full cleanup mode tonight. A strong line of severe storms tore through in a matter of hours, knocking down trees and power lines everywhere, from northern Kent County down to the Indiana border.
Right now, there are still more than 150,000 Consumers Energy customers waiting for their lights, fans, air conditioners to switch back on. Take a look at the Consumers Energy outage map. You can see it didn't matter much where you live in Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, or Grand Rapids. Everyone got hit by these storms. It's just that some were fortunate enough to still have their power on. That map is just spotted right now. Calhoun County customers got it the worst in our area, although Kalamazoo, Allegan, and Van Buren counties weren't far behind. News Channel 3's Maria Serrano has been on damage patrol for us tonight. She is live in Kalamazoo to show us what she has seen these storms bring to the city. Maria.
Erica, a tree on a car, shingles flying off a Kalamazoo restaurant, and where we are right now, at this hotel where you can actually see a tree that fell through this gate and was actually blocking the road earlier. Thankfully, that's not the case anymore because some good Samaritans helped clean it up. The remnants of storms hitting Kalamazoo. A lot of work to do. But Jake Gray is pitching in to help with cleanup.
I'm just driving by.
You drove by and you decided to help?
Yes.
Using a chainsaw to clean up the mess the storm left and scraping leaves off the pavement.
Got a couple errands to run in town, and he's my friend, so he's like, hey, I got a tree down here, and I was like, okay, I'll stop by and help you out.
Lucky for the hotel owners, Jake Gray was one of two people who helped move this tree that was blocking the hotel's exit.
I carry my chainsaws with me everywhere, so it's just something I like to do a lot.
Down the road near Portage Street and Dorchester Avenue, part of this tree ripped off and hit a car. Fire and police picking up the mess and cutting up parts of that tree, which was pushed through this car in the storm. Los Amigos restaurant on West Edge Avenue also fronting some of the damage. You can see shingles that ripped off the roof, ending up on the restaurant's parking lot. Now, the Comfort Inn here on Kilgore Road is at 50% capacity. The owner tells me that they are asking people to stay patient, and they're even offering them to move to sister hotels while the power is restored. It'll likely be days until that power is restored for more than 150,000 people here in West Michigan. I am live in Kalamazoo. Maria Serrano, back to you.
All right, Maria, thanks. News Channel 3 viewers have also been helping us cover the widespread damage caused by these storms. Paul Demink shot these photos in Otsego right behind me here. You can see a picture of this tree, the roots giving out, but it appears that they held enough to prevent that tree from falling onto a home behind it.
That was not the case everywhere. Paul also snapped a picture of this tree leaning right over Farmer and Franklin Street. And there's far more damage. Check out this video from John Westbrooks in Portage. Down power lines in the front yard of a home on Lovers Lane catching fire and burning the grass beneath it. You can also see a tree branch resting on top of the home next door. A Kalamazoo County Animal Rescue is also looking for help tonight after storms peeled the top right off the shelter and flooded out the entire place.
Heather Bradshaw at Rabbit Angels Rabbit Rescue says everything inside the greenhouse where dozens of rabbits are being cared for was soaked by torrential rain. The group had to move the rabbits, which are waiting for adoption, to foster homes immediately. Bradshaw says the rescue likely needs a community support to fix up the shelter or to get a new one.
The Midwestern oil refinery forced to shut down by a fire last week should be up and running once again within a few days. Tonight, News Channel 3 political reporter Rachel Louise Just tells us what's happening now to head off any potential impact for drivers in Michigan.
Gas is as low as it's been in a while in most of Michigan, but drivers got a scare over the weekend when an Indiana refinery that's responsible for about a quarter of the gas and diesel fuel used in Michigan caught on fire.
The BP refinery in Whiting, Indiana, one of the largest refineries in the Midwest, located between South Bend and Chicago, experienced a fire that forced it to shut down. The fire caused the U.S. Department of Transportation to declare a regional energy emergency for Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, and Wisconsin, meaning those states became exempt from certain federal regulations. Governor Gretchen Whitmer signed an emergency order over the weekend that lifted certain protections, namely allowing the state to move over to its winter gas instead of the so-called summer gas it's on right now.
It allows the gasoline, when the air is really humid and the temperature is really high, it allows it to burn cleaner so that we don't have smog or those types of things. The winter fuel doesn't need that because when the air is colder and the air is not as filled with humidity as it is in the summer, it will burn cleaner.
Environmental restrictions stopped Michigan from switching to winter gas until September 15th, 2 weeks from now. The governor's order brings that switch forward by a few weeks. It also lifts limitations on the hours that drivers can be on the road if they're carrying gas or diesel. Griffin says it's a precautionary step, but one that should help Michigan to avoid any impacts of the shutdown.
There's not a problem today in terms of fuel supply, but we want to make sure as they're working to bring this refinery back up to speed. And these are very complicated factories, for lack of a better way to describe it. And you don't just flip a switch and turn it back on.
A gas station owner I talked to today told me he wasn't worried about the station getting its gas or prices going up. Whitmer's order will remain in place until the emergency is over or until it expires on September 15th, whichever comes first.
Tonight, police say a 21-year-old Western Michigan University student has died after being hit by a suspected drunk driver. News Channel 3's Maria Serrano went near campus today to tell us about the victim.
Police say Kaylee Gansberg, a WMU student from Illinois, passed away in the hospital several hours after she was hit by a 22-year-old suspected drunk driver. It's a busy Sunday on Kalamazoo's West Michigan Avenue and Howard Street. One day before, on Saturday morning, it was filled with flashing lights and police. Earlier today, police identifying the victim who ended up with life-threatening injuries from that incident and later died. Kaylee Gansberg, a 21-year-old WMU student from Illinois, is a woman police say was hit by a suspected drunk driver who they say fled the scene Saturday morning. Police say a 22-year-old Kalamazoo resident was driving the involved vehicle while under the influence of alcohol. The suspect arrested on related charges and lodged at the Kalamazoo County Jail. Today, WMU's Chi Omega, a sorority Gansberg was a part of, taking to Facebook to express how they feel following this news, calling Gansberg, quote, kind, outgoing, and artistic. Tonight, a WMU spokesperson saying counseling services are available to students. The statement reads in part, quote, we are saddened by this terrible loss of a young life cut short and extend our condolences to Kaylee's family and other loved ones. Our focus is on providing support. We have therapists available to aid students, faculty, and staff in processing grief and crisis. It appears it is the second time a WMU student is killed by a suspected drunk driver in less than a year. Last November, 19-year-old Bailey Broderick was hit while walking off campus on Fraternity Village Drive. Hunter Hudgens, the driver charged in the crash that killed Broderick, is awaiting trial. There will be a memorial for Gansberg tomorrow at 5 p.m. at Fraternity Village Drive. Police say if you know anything about this case, you are asked to call KDPS or Silent Observer at 269-343-2100.